Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second round of the season for the Mini F2 League here with Invictus Racing. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be back once again commentating on this championship. We have a number of drivers ready and waiting to go racing here in Azerbaijan around the streets of Baku. It will be, no doubt, an eventful race. We've got lots to talk about in the build-up to the event, so let's crack on with it, shall we? First of all, a bit of a change of format from last week. For those that joined us, we will be running the feature race first, so that means the one-shot qualifying system will be still active, but that will set the feature race. Then we will go straight into the feature race itself, come back into the lobby after the feature race is done, and then we will do the top 12 drivers from the feature race will get reversed into the sprint race, which we will be running second. So a bit of a format change just to make everything run a little bit more smoothly. Beyond that, in terms of other differences within the championship of last week, we've updated the regulations within Invictus Racing League rather than Invictus Regulation League. That'd be something completely different. But the IRL have done some changes to the regulations regarding overtakes, battles, submissions. So that's important for everyone to understand. Still waiting on a couple of drivers before we do inevitably get underway this evening. So those are the main changes around the rules, which is pretty important for us all. And we are due to get going in just a few moments' time, as I said. If you missed last week's action, where were you? What were you doing? Feel free to go back and have a watch of it shortly. Evening to those in the chat area as well. Good evening to you, Kelvin and Stephen. Good to see you. And we're looking forward to the racing action around this brilliant circuit, Azerbaijan. I have to say, of all the circuits, built circuits that are street tracks around the F1 calendar, I have to say this is one that does promote a lot of talk. It is a challenge. It's not the easiest circuit to navigate around, and there are some difficult corners for the drivers to navigate, especially in these F2 cars. And let's have a look at the brief moment at the driver's standings from last week, if you aren't aware. Let's go through those. So it's Rudo24 who leads the championship on 21 points. Beyond the Ball is second on 16. Gattuso is third on 14. Matty Rudd is fourth on 12, with Clips Kiri in fifth on 10 points. Shortbread224 is on 8 points alongside Ashtube. They're sixth and seventh tied for points. DXT Matty is also on 8 points as well, with RC Bruce in 9th, and Ginger Tiger, who's not competing tonight, on 3 points in the top 10. In terms of the constructors, we've got AIX, which is Rudo and IRC Bruce at the top of the charts. We've got the Dams team in the form of DXT Matty and Beyond the Ball are second, and ART are third. So 28, 24 and 20 points respectively. But we are about to go into one-shot qualifying. Good evening to everyone. Good to see you, Malk. Hope you're doing okay. Well, the drivers will be navigating some real challenges this evening, and I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for this session of the mini league that we have in IRL. The 4 races that we have, this is probably the one that's going to generate a whole period of maybe safety cars, action, accidents. Because next week we're heading off to the Hungaroring, and then beyond that we will be heading to Silverstone for the final round of our mini F2 League Championship. So tonight it's important to get some points on the board for Rudo, for Bjorn de Boer. our 2 race winners from last week. Obviously, Ruddo winning the feature race with an alternative strategy. He ended up making 2 pit stops in the end, did Ruddo, because of a safety car that came out for Kent's accident. And Bjorn de Boer as well, who won the sprint. He was very quick last week, was Bjorn de Boer. He was unfortunate in the end not to place in the top 3 spaces on the podium, thanks to the safety car timing. Didn't work out in the same way for him as it did for Ruddo. So lots of narratives going on today. And AJLS, good to see you. Nice to be back. He says, couldn't be there last week, so got to make for it on the YouTube comments. Good to have you. Good to have you, AJLS. So we're moments away from the start. Let's get into qualifying. We'll ride on board with, I think if we can get to Reshka, we will ride on board with him. So let's get the telemetry open, the lap data open, and the mini map in the bottom right side. There's 6 kilometre circuit, breaking down into turn 1, then second gear on the ultra soft tyres for Reshka as he brakes once again into turn number 2, down to second gear. He said he was struggling with the braking in the pre-race build-up, had a little bit of a lock-up with the front left, but no harm done. Flat out now all the way down this straight approaching turn 3, another difficult heavy braking zone. Just before the 100-metre marker, Reshka brakes, he clips the inside wall. That's going to unsettle the car. Looks like he's got away with anything major. Into turn 4, again second gear, but you can see Reshka really fighting the car here as he approaches the left, right at 5 and 6. Again, a little lock-up on the front left, but nice and tidy through there. He's sat in the midfield, currently about 7th place. Another really challenging braking zone here at the right-hander. Nice use of the curb, actually, in the F2 cars for turn 7. Then through the castle section, he's hit the wall. Has he got away with the... I think he has got away with a little bit of damage. A kick of oversteer on the exit of turn 12 for Reshka on the super soft tyres. Flies now towards the left-hander, completely flat in these F2 cars. And then he's going to be on the brakes into what is the penultimate heavy braking zone at 15. One last heavy braking zone to go. Brakes just after the 100-metre marker. Down through the gears, round this corner here. He's gone wide, actually. I don't know if he's invalidated. It looks like he's got away with it. And now it's a complete flat charge all the way to the start-finish line. But I've got to say, it's the 2 Road and Motorsport cars who are at the front currently. Ashtube and ARL on fire. Shortbread and Bjorn de Boer are fighting over 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. DRS wide open towards the start-finish line. It's Ashtube then on pole position by 6 thousandths of a second from Bjorn de Boer. What a fab qualifying session that was. It is Reshka in 7th place, who we rode on board with, last season's sort of mini league champion. But let's go through this grid order then for the feature race. It's an all-European top 3 with the 2 Dutch drivers at Ashtube and Bjorn de Boer lining up on row 1. ARL and Shortbread row 2 with Clips Kiri and Ruddo 24 and 5th and 6th. Reshka and Nitrogash are 7th and 8th, and rounding out the top 10 we have YB Maras and Matty Rudd. Then it's O'Stephen and IRC Bruce on row 6 with DXT Matty and Lionel Griesby in 13th and 14th. Kent and Mikey are in row 8, and so Spud has a spot all for himself, not setting what I would say is a representative lap time from Captain Potato. And yeah, there you go. Spud saying he hit the wall, and I'm not surprised by that. And we've got a wet race. Wow. Well, we had a dry qualifying session. We've got a wet race here in Azerbaijan. That is going to be frenetic and crazy, no doubt. Braking zones are going to be elongated. Acceleration times are going to be elongated. The drivers are going to have to be steady on the throttle as they go. AJLS saying in the comments here, for those that can't read, he's just put in the YouTube comments, he's saying lost out in Sector 2, but yeah, P1 and P3, not bad for the team. Great qualifying effort for Rodin. That's a really positive performance for those guys. And now the question becomes, for those that are new to the series, you're watching this for the first time, all the drivers in the F2 League, they are using preset setups. So that means they've got 5 fixed setups that they can choose from, and they have to pick one of those 5. And this will completely change the scope of it now. Are they going to stick with those setups? Actually, they will have to stick with those setups, because parc fermé rules are in place. So they will be able to change the brake bias. They might be able to make a change to the front wing as well. They might have a little bit more on. Spud saying, I did say rain. You did say rain, to be fair, so Spud, well done to you. Let's hope your 17th place sprouts into a points finish. But this is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm really excited to see how we get on. I just need to go into the settings. This isn't anything to do with what's going on circuit. This is more just to do with the master volume, just to dial it down a little bit when I'm riding on board with the drivers. But the formation lap is underway. It's full wets for those out on track. I can't imagine. Oh, I could see Ashtube kicking up the oversteer on the exit of turn 1. This is going to be a real challenge for the drivers. Every single driver, like I say, on the wet tyres. We haven't got any penalties yet. That would have been impressive. We'll keep the position change board open, ready for the race. I suppose saying you can't change anything. No. Well, that's unfortunate, because you should be able to change front wing, but evidently the parc fermé regulations between F1 and F2 are slightly different. I like having Spud in the pit lane. I like having Spud there. He's a bit like a better version of Ted Kravitz. Spud Kravitz, that's what we've got in the pit lane. Let's have a look at like what the spray is like for the drivers a little bit in the mid-fit. It's actually quite bunched up, and Rudo and Reshka have made contact, so that sets them back to the grid, and that's going to cost them some valuable track experience in the opening lap. There's been some carnage and chaos. It looks like that's one of the Prema cars. That's Mikey, who's had a little bit of a wobble out there. I wanted to see, and that's a high-tech car. That's Kent, who's gone round. So we've already got a little bit of carnage in the opening formation lap. I expect there to be some yellow flags out there then. And the drivers they're quite spread out, actually. It looks like because of Rudo and Reshka's coming together, it's separated the field out. You can see that the top 5 with clips, of course, just clipping through, quite literally. And then there's a gap back to Nitrogash and Maras. And then we've got Matthew Rudd now just coming into what is turn number 15. And there's gaps back to IRC Bruce. There's one with DXT Matty. And I think Mikey and Kent are very far back. And Mikey almost locking up into turn 15. That's going to be a key spot on our race today, ladies and gentlemen. There may be some incidents there. Spud is miles in front, so I think Mikey and Kent have had some spins on their laps. Oh, he's sliding through the last 2 corners of the race circuit. I think it is Bruce he's got behind him. Yeah, so a lot of drivers out of position. And meanwhile, at the front, we've already got Ashtube lining up into his grid box. So Spud is not the last driver, it's Kent actually who's just catching up now. So the drivers at the front are going to be waiting for quite a long time. We will ride with ARL because I don't think we're going to get the trackside camera that I was after. We'll ride with Bjorn de Boer actually, and we'll see what the start's like. So here we go then, a wet race for the feature here in the Mini F2 League with IRL. And the race is live, and who gets the best start as we run towards turn 1? It's Clips Kiri who's done quite well. But going into turn number 1, Ashtube leads the way. 3 wide going into there. We've got Shortbread, Reshka and Co. And that's one of the Invictus cars. That's Nitrogash round. He's made contact with another driver. Doesn't look like there's been any damage, but you can see the spray. And that is Maras. That is Matty out of the race, and we're already under VSC. And I think Matty and Maras, yeah, just came together, and that was Matty into the wall. And already we've got a VSC. Maras, I think the 2 of them just interlocked. It looks like Maras has got away with it, but a dreadful start for the MP Motorsport car. He's gone back down the field. Couple of other drops. Shortbread went down a couple of spots. He was 3 wide going into turn 1. He was with Nitro, but those 2 weren't the 2 that made contact. Kent's up 5 places. What a start from one of the stars of the F1 season earlier this year. Kent had a number of strategies that worked out for him to give him race victories, but Kent's already up 5 spots. So Spud from 17th to 13th. Great start. AJLS saying that there's a lot of water on track. He's saying mad rain. That would explain, and you can see it being kicked up from the drivers in front. If we go on board with Mikey here, you can see that even at these low speed conditions, there's a lot of spray coming off the back of the cars. Mine agrees to be kicking up the oversteer in those Pirelli wet weather tyres through the cast. I don't want to go too close like that, sunshine. Bruce is up to 9th. O'Stephen up 3 places as well. So good start for Bruce and O'Stephen. They must have just avoided the contact with Matty and Maras. But Ashtube had a good start. With all the carnage behind him, he's got a bit of an advantage under this present VSC. I think Matty will be a bit disappointed, DXT Matty. I think he'll be a bit frustrated. We're still under VSC here. It looks like the safety car has actually come out onto circuit. So this is going to be a couple of laps behind the safety car. Although, to be honest, looking at where Matty's car has retired, that's almost a little bit overblown, I would argue, for the safety car to come out. But safety takes precedent, and the drivers will have to be quite sensible as they get on the brakes into turn 1. I'm going to keep to this camera angle just to see if anyone accidentally locks up. Some drivers will be using this little bit of downtime, and downtime's the wrong word, but this slow down period for an opportunity to just get a few braking zones nailed. They might drop away. Maras is in the pit, so he did have damage. We'll just see if DXT Matty's car is still on the exit of turn 2. It's not. It was planted on the inside of that barrier. And obviously, pit stop's a lot slower within Formula 2. And Maras gets his car pretty much ready to go, and we should be coming out of the pits any second now. Off we go. So Maras is back out and on with it. Doesn't look like he's had any change of tyre. No, he's just got a new set of Blue Wall Pirelli 18-inch tyres on his F2 car. Well, Ashtube will be delighted with this. A couple of laps knocked off of the overall total. We're still in the middle section of the lap. And for Ashtube, you know, he was a bit unfortunate last week, was Ashtube. He did score some points. He's 7th in the drivers' standings at the moment. And for those that were unaware, you know, Ashtube last week, didn't have the best in terms of the qualifying situation at the Netherlands. But he got a points finish in the feature race in the end. He finished 5th. He was in the thick of it with his teammate and with RC Bruce. That was Ashtube, who was finishing 7th. So he was right involved in all the action. So let's see if the Dutchman can make any further inroads. It doesn't look as if the safety car is going to come in this lap, which is... that is a real surprise. It wouldn't be a surprise if the safety car came in now, if it was a very, very late call, but that would be a bit ridiculous. I'm also a bit surprised that Maras hasn't yet caught the safety car. I don't know if he's had a little issue somewhere out on track. It doesn't look like he has. I know Stephen coming into the pits. He's got a broken front wing, so he's damaged his front wing under the safety car conditions. That's just showing you, everyone, even under the safety car right now, we're seeing some really challenging weather conditions. Ashtube has managed to rejoin, and so has Bjorn de Boer. So I think they both had a little bit of a disconnection. I'll just double check to make sure that we can get them back in. We don't want to lose the two of them. So there's Ashtube's invite out, and we've got Bjorn de Boer's invite in as well. So they've got there, they can get back in, and it looks as if Ashtube is in control of his car, but Bjorn yet to be. And our sprint race winner want to be getting out there. And ARL's testing the limits now. You see him kicking up the oversteer in that Toyota Gazoo livery backed car there. Obviously, foreman of Rio Miatu was the F2 driver in that car last season. And Ashtube is gone. We have lost Ashtube. Oh, what a great shame that is. That is so unfortunate. We've lost Ashtube from the session. Our race leader is parked at the side of the road. We don't know why he's out, but that is heartbreaking stuff. I was just praising him as well. And that is 2 cars out before we've completed a full racing lap. Ashtube has rejoined, but his team have pulled him into the pits, and that's that. He'll have to go again in the sprint. Bjorn de Boer saying that he can't take control of his car. So that means we've lost 2 Dutch drivers, potentially. And there's nothing that we can do to get them back in. You've seen that. I've tried to re-invite them. They can't get control of their car. That's something on their end. And that is heartbreaking stuff. I will try once again. I know that we're about to go racing. I want to try and make it as fair as I possibly can. In fact, we've lost Bjorn de Boer completely from here. Is the safety car really going to go round again? Yeah, it looks like it is. This is the 3rd lap of safety car conditions. Now, this might be a bit of an issue here because I've never seen a safety car stay out for 4... Well, actually, no. Technically, the safety car would have come in and gone out on lap 2. So, yes, actually, it is within the parameters. I briefly, for a moment, thought there was going to be a glitch and we'd have to restart. But alas, that's not the case. So we got another lap under safety car. I'm going to try once again to get Bjorn de Boer back in. Mikey has sent me a re-invite for where we are currently, but that's okay. And I no longer can see Bjorn de Boer at all on the EA Sports friend list. So that is really saddening. He's got his car. His car's still there out on circuit. It's not retired yet. But it might be that the 2 Dams Lucas Oil cars are going to be out before we've completed 1 full racing lap. Oh, Stephen and Lionel Griesby pitted as well. I was wondering about why Lionel Griesby had gone into the pits. I wonder if he'd made contact with the wall there. Definitely went in for another set of tyres, unless he was thinking about having a really fresh set of tyres, but he's going to have a 3-lap advantage on the bulk of the field. Whether that's enough for the wet tyre is another matter. Oh, Stephen is still trying to catch the safety car. We're not far away from the safety car line. The second sector is at the exit, or rather the approach of number, I think it would be number 16, yes. It's at the approach to number 16. So if I go on board with Bjorn de Boer, the safety car line is just about here, and there you go. The safety car is in this lap, and we don't have Bjorn de Boer, and that's a heartbreaking situation. I'm really disappointed for him, to be honest, because it's through no fault of his own. Bjorn's asking me if I can invite you. Bjorn, I've invited you, my friend, but I don't know if it's come through. We are about to go racing. I'm going to give Bjorn one last chance. If I can get him in, I will try. But I can't see him on here. Yes, I can. There we go. I've got him in. I've sent the invite. Hopefully it works, Bjorn. But we will be going green flag racing, and ARL is going to be in a glorious opportunity here to just breeze past the Dams car going to turn 1. Bjorn's Ghost goes. We are back underway here in Azerbaijan for lap 4. Clips Kiri is all over the back. Forget the back of him. He's on the inside. Approaching turn 1. Clips brakes a little bit later than ARL. He's going to go to the inside. Contact between the two. Bjorn's Ghost causing all sorts of carnage, but nothing we can really do about that. Clips still on the inside as they break for turn 2. We're on board with Ruddo here, the championship leader. Oh, a little bit of contact between Kent and Shortbread, and Kent just getting the car tickling with the oversteer. It's absolute spray. You can barely see here in Baku. It's just a plume of spray all around. The drivers are doing their absolute utmost to stay in control of their cars. Beyond the ball falling backwards. So Spud up 8 places, Kent up 10. He's had an unbelievable start. A little bit further back in the pack, Mikey up in 11th place. He's got Nitro and Bruce behind him. Oh, Stephen and Lionel Greasby did make the back of the train. I think so. Spud, yes, has just overtaken the ghost of Bjorn. Probably a really good indie band somewhere, that, to be honest, in the Arctic Circle. Oh, that was Maras almost running into the back of Sir Spud. I don't think he meant to do that. Reshka trying to make a... So after ARL's brief flirtation with Clips Kiri, he's got a 2.5 over the driver in second. Shortbread on a mission though. He is right with Ruddo 24. Then it's Kent. Reshka's in 6th place. Matty Rudd up 3 places. He's into 7th. Spud is 8th. He's having a fabulous time out there. And I think Nitrogash has just overtaken Bjorn de Boer, whose ghost continues to fall down the field. I see Bruce having a bit of a struggle in these wet weather conditions. I think everyone is having a struggle in these conditions. It's certainly not easy to navigate. Nitrogash, though, looking to make a move. I'll tell you who else is making a move. It's Shortbread, who's got the run. He's just in front of Ruddo, and I think Ruddo will be wise here, and he'll break a little bit earlier, and he does indeed. He concedes the position, and Shortbread up into 3rd position. And he's one of my picks for this season, is Shortbread. He does like Baku. He's a big fan of this circuit. And he was really unfortunate last week with his stop-go penalty that he had. But he's one to watch in the number 1 ART. Ruddo's still in 4th place. He's still gaining points in the championship. Rashka just in behind. Kent is there in 6th place on lap number 6. Matty Rudd hanging onto the back of that group. Looks like IRC Bruce now goes past Bjorn de Boer. And sadly, Bjorn saying, what a game. I really, really feel sorry for you, Bjorn. We've tried our best to get him back in. But the sprint race winner from last week sadly won't be a feature for the rest of this feature race. We can get him back in for the sprints, where he will be the angriest man in the whole of the Netherlands. But ARL is pulling away at a really nice rate of knots. He's 2.6 seconds clear now of Clips, who's got Shortbread all over the rear. Well, Shortbread has some incredible pace at this point in the race. Clips just understeering a little bit through the top section of the circuit at turn 13. But I wonder if Shortbread will go for a similar move to what he did to Ruddo down the main straight. As Lionel Greasby now moves past Bjorn, so Bjorn will probably finish 15th, but won't be ideal. And look at this, the traction that Shortbread had there on the exit of 16 was fabulous compared to Clips. And maybe that's just a little difference in setup that he's running, because he wasn't that high up in qualifying, but he's in the tow now, underneath the diffuser, and on the inside of Clips Kiri is Shortbread. We cut to the outside shots. The number 1 looks as if he's going to go through here and take 2nd place. New fastest lap of the race from him as well. Down the inside on the brakes, he goes through. Ruddo and Reshka side by side, but Ruddo fending off that place. And Shortbread just about holding on too. These guys, these 4 drivers, have got a gap to Kent now in 6th, who, to be fair, has had a fabulous race so far. I think he'll be delighted if he finishes in 6th. To see Reshka pulling out of the tow, but I don't think he's going to try and shape up a move. And alas, he does not. Spud still in 9th place. He's got Mikey and Nitrogash with him. It's a really good performance from Spud and Mikey. They're both up a lot of places and having a really good showing in these wet weather conditions. They're doing a great job. Nitrogash, who is a driver who is definitely faster in terms of raw pace compared to the two in front of him, is having a challenging time getting through. So well done to those two. Let's see if they can keep it up. I do hope that they do. I don't want to curse them, as Mikey almost has a little slide out of what would be turn number 6. He gets away with that. Bruce, it's O'Stephen, then it's Lionel Griesby in 12th, 13th and 14th. Those guys just trying to get through to the end and hoping for some more carnage up front. Doesn't look like there's any carnage there, but there is for third place, because Ruddo and Reshka now applying the pressure to Clips Kiri. The Manor Motorsport car is holding on at the minute. Looks like that Clips has got a little bit more confidence out of turn 15 and had a better line through 16, to be fair, than Ruddo. So he's not going to be under pressure, I don't believe, on the run towards turn 1. If this was a dry race, you'd argue he would be, because DRS would be wide open, but in these wet weather conditions, DRS is firmly closed. So the drivers will have to make their overtakes in the classic fashion by just getting their elbows out. New fastest lap again for ARL. 207.687. Just have a look at the fastest lap. Look at these two, shortbread, and that's a little move going on further back, I think. Let's just have a look. Yeah, Matty Rudd and YB Maras have exchanged places just as I was looking at the fastest laps, and Maras moves up into 7th place. So despite, to be fair, this has been a great recovery from Maras. He showed some really good pace last week, did the Haas F1 driver last season in season 20. He's been really impressive in these F2 cars, and I hope that's a good bode to come for F1 25, which is obviously out in a few weeks. But Maras has been really impressive, and he's come back from a pit stop to get back into 7th place, and his fastest lap is quicker than Kent, so don't rule that out as being a fight later on. What I was saying before, the top two, look at that, in the 2:07 7s, they are absolutely flying. They're loving these wet conditions. Oh, Clips was so close to hitting the wall then at turn 10. Gets away with that. And the red light flashing on the back of that MP car doesn't mean Kerr's battery harvesting in terms of the ERS system. That's actually a safety light that runs in the wet weather conditions. So if we're in a big plume of spray, the driver behind, aka Ruddo, can see the car in front of him if conditions get any worse. But right now, Ruddo is looking to try and apply more pressure onto Clips Kiri. But having raced with Clips last season, I can tell you very much the case that Clips is not one to be overtaken easily. He's a very good racer, and it will be a challenge for Ruddo to get past him. However, that gap is coming down thanks to the slipstream. New fastest lap from ARL, but shortbread in the 2:06. Goodness me, he's absolutely shifting. Can Ruddo look to the inside at the braking zone? He thinks better of it. But the number 24 is now wanting to make the P4 become P3. And Clips has got a lot of work to do. He's going to hold on. He runs a little bit wide. And Ruddo gets on the power just a touch too early, and that spun up the wheels, and that might just prevent him having a sniff into turn number 3. He looks to the inside, but he's sensible. He won't make a late lunge. Maras, I said, was going to catch Kent, and he's done that within the lap. And the MP Motorsport driver is looking to the outside at 4, and naturally Kent shuts the door on him. They've brought Matty Rudd along with them, but he kicks up the oversteer. The ART driver just shadowing these guys at the minute. There's a couple of boxing fights going on out on track at the minute, so Spud's still holding off Mikey and Nitrogash. The other guys in 12th, 13th and 14th, they're in their own races at the minute. But the gap, the other thing to say as well, the gap at the front's come down. Shortbread is 1.4 behind ARL. He is on a mission to take his first ever Invictus Racing League victory, but these three are currently the stars of the show for the last spot in the podiums, positioned that is. Reshka, Ruddo and Clips, as Ruddo whacks the The little he whacked the little pole on the inside of the corner there, one of the safety poles. But Ruddo is close, but Reshka is as close to him. So can we see a bit of a Constantina? A bit more than a Constantina. Reshka's had a fab run. He taps the wall on the exit of turn 19. Doesn't seem to have impacted him too much. He's going to be in the slipstream of Ruddo, who might have to go for it on clips if he gets the chance to. Reshka's going to be thwarted by that little bit of slipstream that Ruddo has. Oh, they're going to close up to one another. Rear left tyre to the front right. But really good racecraft from the two of them. And Matty Rudd goes past Kent, but Kent gets it all wrong and flies into the side of Myvi Maras. And I've got to be honest, that's going to be a penalty for Kent. I think he didn't want to hit the back of... He didn't want to hit the back of Matty Rudd, and sadly he fired it into the side of Maras, who, through no fault of his own, has gone back down the field again. That is a sad shame for Maras. He was going so well. I think he's got damage too, so that race going from bad to worse for him after it looked and promised so much. Now Matty, aka Lionel Griesby, has been in the pits again, and Matty Rudd's off the road and into the wall. Now what's happened there? Matty Rudd, has he just lost connection with the car? What's happened there? He is in the barrier, and that's brought out a yellow flag. All of this carnage is kicked off while Shortbread has closed within half a second of the car in front, and Matty Rudd has been disqualified. He's out. It's done. It's over. And I think Kent's damage, yeah, too much to bear. Mikey and Spud have gone through. It's all kicking off in the last couple of laps here. We're only 2/3 of the way through this race. But currently, at the moment, the fight is between Shortbread and ARL for the race lead and for third position. Can Shortbread go up the inside at turn 1? It looks like he can. Through he goes and into the race lead, but he runs a little bit deep, and ARL's going to be up the inside of him for turn 2. Can these guys leave each other a little bit of racing room? The answer is they didn't need to, because Shortbread had the momentum, and Shortbread becomes the new race leader here in the F2 Mini League at Azerbaijan. Now the question is, can ARL make any impression on the car in front? We've got a safety car. We have a safety car out on circuit. Lionel Griesby's on the dry compound. He's on Pirelli mediums. I was wondering why he'd gone into the pits, and I did see Pirelli's on, but he's got a broken front wing, so he's going to have to go back in again. Nitrogas is in the pits too. And all of a sudden, this race is completely turned on its head, and Maras will be sat there rubbing his hands with delight, because despite being punted off twice, he's still running in 8th place, and he'll get a safety car to catch him back up to the field. So Spud is up to 6th place. What a drive. The Trident man. I said before, can he sprout his way up through the field? He's done more than that. He's in the top 6. What a drive. Well, Shortbread will be sat there thinking, what do I do now? Now, I'm wondering whether Lionel Griesby has gone into the pits for medium tyres because he thinks it's dry enough. Now, I know Lionel Griesby quite well. I know that he would typically take a punt if he feels like it's worth it in these circumstances. And he's going to go back onto the medium, so Lionel Griesby goes back out there. Oh, Stephen picks up a time penalty for speeding under the safety car. An absolute nightmare for him. Just trying to see what the penalty situation. Drive through for both Nitro and Stephen, which absolutely gazumps. Just have a breather here for a moment whilst the drivers circulate around the track. The top 2 haven't pitted, nor have the top 5. So Lionel Greasby, the only one, well, I was going to say the only one brave enough to go on the dry tyres, but it looks as if he is now back on the wet, although it didn't say that before when he drove out. Yeah, he is on the wet, so that was a visual glitch. So whilst we've got another safety car, and Nitro Gash is out. Has he retired in the pits? Just trying to see. Mikey's getting it. Yeah, Nitro Gash has retired in the pit lane. I see Bruce is in the pits. He's getting another set of wet tyres on. Kent moves back into the points. I see Bruce is going back out in front of Mikey, who had damage. And now it's down to Lionel Greasby to see if he can catch the safety car. But if I'm being honest, it'd be impressive if he did. And Bruce and Mikey, the only 2 drivers, along with Kent, to make a pit stop to get really fresh rubber on. But the problem is the safety car will inevitably come in, if not this lap, the next one. It doesn't like to go any further beyond 2 laps from the end. So we've got the top 5 all together. Then it's a Spud and YB Maras, who still has front wing damage, but has decided to carry on out there. O'Stephen has still got his drive-through penalty to serve. And I wonder if Nitro Gash pitted because he just didn't want to serve his drive-through and had enough. And Nitro saying the Delta was a little bit of nonsense. So... oh, that is a shame. That is a real shame for Nitro, because he was running well. He was battling for some good points for Invicta, but with his teammate not participating this evening, with Ginger Tiger being out, changes the dynamic. And oh, an FRL Stephen hits the wall, and that's a broken front wing. I'm surprised he didn't do more damage then. Is he going to carry on? He's going to have to serve his drive-through penalty at some point, though. And yeah, into the pits comes O'Stephen. That's a bit quick, and he's going to hit the wall. Oh my! He is fortunate, is O'Stephen, that the damage is on standard. He'd be in serious trouble. So we've got to just make it plain. Beyond the Ball is not in control of his car at the moment, so every single driver now who finishes this race will score points. So Kent is actually in 9th, Bruce is in 10th place, but that could go a bit higher up because of O'Stephen being in the pit lane. The answer to that will be actually a definite yes. Mikey will be in 11th. Matty will probably end up in 12th, so Matty being Lionel Greasby. You may hear me refer to him as Matty from time to time, and that's just inevitable. That will happen. But Shortbread is in the lead of this race. He made that overtake at the critical time, really. But can he defend from ARL to take a first victory within Invictus Racing League? It'd be great to see a newcomer take a win, as ARL Clips is still in 3rd place despite all the pressure from Rudder and Reshka. Then it will be Sir Spud, it'll be Maras, Beyond the Ball, Kent, IRC Bruce, Mikey and O'Stephen, who as it stands will be in pole position for the sprint race, because the top 12 drivers get reversed from the feature into the sprint. So it will be O'Stephen on pole, Mikey in 2nd, Bruce in 3rd and Kent in 4th, if it stays as it does. Drivers now coming into the penultimate corner, and I think for Beyond the Ball, Kent and Bruce and all that lot, they're not going to catch the safety car yet. There we go. That's it. That's the timing screen called. So the top 7 will be getting ready to go, and Shortbread becomes the de facto pace car. Shortbread doing a little weave there with his car, but I can't imagine he'll be warming the tyres up. He'll want to keep them quite cool for this rain. Well, it definitely looks a lot lighter than what it did before, but it'll be too late now for it to affect the race. In terms of anyone trying to make a late pit stop, 2 laps to go, it's not enough time for anyone to recover. So, Shortbread is in control. ARL and Clips are there together too. And Shortbread delaying for as long as he possibly can. And to be fair, that's actually brought everyone back together. But off we go, and that's a really good restart. And a jump from the ART driver. I've got to say, Clips is going to be under pressure from Ruddo and Reshka as they go towards turn 1. The leader's not going to be troubled, but Ruddo looking at the inside, defending from Reshka, which he does. So Spud's still in 6th place. Maras, Kent, then it'll be IRC, Bruce and Mikey who've caught up, and O'Stephen serves his drive-through. So that's worked out nicely. Bruce makes a move past the not actually there Bjorn de Boer. Here comes YB Maras. Can he get on the inside and get that move made on Sir Spud? It looks like he's through and on the inside, but Spud breaks a little bit later. Got to be careful, gentlemen. That's very close to the barriers. They just about survived. The cars in front of us are also having a massive fight themselves. We ride on board with Kent. We watch the blue car on the left of Maras, who gets the traction out of the corner. He moves through, and Kent, ever the opportunist, slips through. Oh, Spud just got that a touch wrong. Hit the side of Kent's rear right tyre. Gets away with it. But he drops down to 8th position. But the 3 trying to... Ooh, Ruddo getting into the back of Reshka. I think Ruddo almost was in the wrong gear then. Looked very slow off the exit of turn number 7. And Ruddo now has fallen a second behind. I wonder if he's just got a little bit of a nick with the front wing. It looks okay from our screens, but it can all be a little bit different from what we see to what the drivers have on their head-up display. I think Reshka clipped the wall then at turn 14. Wow. A little bit of lapse of judgment, and he rolls up the rear tyres there. And that just gives Ruddo a bit of breathing space. We're going to go into the final lap shortly, but Shortbread 2 seconds clear. He is revelling in these conditions. Then it's ARL, then it's Clips, Kiri, Ruddo, Reshka. YB Maras is in front of Kent. Spud, IRC Bruce is there. Oh, Spud hitting the wall on the outside of the penultimate corner. Mikey's there too. And then it's O'Stephen, who is still in 12th place. Another fastest lap of the race for Shortbread. As we go for the final time of asking here for the feature race at Azerbaijan. Looks like Mikey in the background, slipping and sliding all over the place, looking at a shadow of a move at the inside of Bruce, but wasn't close enough. Can Ruddo gain any positions on this final lap? But that traction out of that turn 2 wasn't quite enough, and Ruddo going to the wet part of the circuit there, trying to cool those tyres down. If anyone had gambled on the intermediates, probably could have paid off for them at this point. Maras is still in 6th place. He's made 2 recoveries so far in this feature race. It's been a storming effort from the number 11, and with a broken front wing, I've got to add. Kent there in 7th. So Spud in 8th position, still hanging on to that really good position. It'd be a really good result for Trident if they could get a car in 8th place. And O'Stephen's pitted again. That's going to put Matty, aka Liner Griesby's going to be into 11th place. He's going to be 2nd on the grid though. So O'Stephen taking advantage of that. It's a bit cheeky. And he will have pole position for the reverse race. But right now Shortbread has an unassailable advantage. Reshka trying to cool down the tyres as well. Kent close to the back of Maras, but he oversteers on the exit of 12. So it's all going to come down to the last couple of corners, and Ruddo is right there. If he can get the slipstream, he might have a chance, but he's got to be close now. Got to be really close to the back of Clips. Clips the inside line of the curve, and Clips' exit's not the greatest, I have to say. Little bit of wheel spin from Ruddo. He's really pushing. He wants that podium spot. He's got a nice line through 18, then 19, but he just drifts out wide and he might be too far away. I'm going to cut forward. It's Shortbread 224, a first win in IRL for him. A great drive, a class amongst the field. ARL will be 2nd. Clips will be 3rd, just from Ruddo. Reshka in 5th place in the end. Maras takes 6th with Kent in 7th. Spud hangs on for 8th. Bruce is 9th. Mikey has been disqualified for reasons we don't yet know. Wonder why that was. We'll have to find out what it caused Mikey to be kicked out from the session. Beyond the Ball is not 10th. It will be Lionel Griesby who is 10th place, and O'Stephen is 11th. But that's subject to change. We need to find out what happened to Mikey. Those drivers, in the end, it's Kent who gets driver of the day. And Shortbread doing a power pose there on the podium. He'll be delighted with that. Spud saying he'll take 8th place. Of course you will. That was a really strong drive from yourself. Up 9 places in the end. And we don't know why Mikey has been disqualified from the feature race. So we'll just get the official race results so that they're there. I'll just get some pictures there just to make sure that we have them. There we go, fantastic. So it is Shortbread. Excuse me. Shortbread who takes the victory. It's ARL in 2nd, Clips, and Ruddo 3rd and 4th. A great defensive drive for Clips. Breshka in 5th place. Maras, Kent, Spud 6th, 7th and 8th with Bruce. Lionel Griesby would be 10th, but I think Mikey's been disqualified for reasons that are to do with something within the game. And O'Stephen, the other driver, to finish the race. So we wait in the lobby now. Mikey, who is the admin, will change the grid order. I'll just have a brief pause and we'll be back in. So we'll be resetting the grid now and moving everything over. So we are just waiting for everyone. Excuse me. So yeah, drivers are just having some discourse at the moment within Discord. Discourse within discourse. And looks like we've lost Kent, so we need to get him back in the lobby. It's a bit frustrating that we are facing these issues with F124. They do really need to be sorted for the next game, because that's a big part of the community in terms of. So people are trying to rejoin. So we've lost Kent, and we're also waiting on Beyond the Ball to come back into the lobby too. So we're just waiting for those guys. I've now can see Beyond the Ball, so that's good. We can get him invited into it. And Kent has disappeared too, so we'll see if we can get them both back into the lobby. But what a race that was, in terms of the action that was out there on circuit, it was fantastic to watch. It was really, really entertaining. And, the wet weather certainly played a part in the action out there. We saw a number of people joining, and Kent has said he is out, so that is him done. So the drivers will slide up a spot then. And yeah, we are doing our utmost. We will get the action underway as soon as we possibly can. It is frustrating. I mean, I sit here as someone who has enjoyed the Codemasters iteration of F1 games, but I have to say that 24, there has been some, issues with online lobbies for a number of seasons now that haven't been corrected, and they really do need to be addressed within Codemasters and EA Sports as F1 25, the next game that comes out next month, because these are issues that we've seen in other games can be run relatively fine, there's no issues, but for some reason they are very unique to F1. Now, whether that's to do with the Ego engine or anything along those lines, I'm not quite certain. I'm not an architect in terms of game design, but it is an issue. And it's something that, like I say, other games that we've come across in the past, and racing games such as Gran Turismo and the Project Cars series and Assetto Corsa, they don't have the same issues. And why that is, again, that could be to do with different engines that could have those problems. And like I say, we've got Beyond the Ball is apparently now back and ready to go. So I will re-invite him, although it now says he's not there, which is beautiful. This is becoming a little bit of a frustration. Beyond the Boar is saying he's now back online. We've also found out that from one thing that we saw earlier in the race that we didn't have an answer for was Matty Rudd retiring. We saw that he was off the road, the exit of what was, I think, turn 3. And we just found out that apparently that his wheel broke after he got hit. So it's a bit of an interesting one. I think his physical wheel broke after being hit by another driver. So fascinating how that happened, but there we are. Yeah. Beyond the Ball saying that his invites are disappearing. When his invites come through, they're just disappearing. So we're going to go without Bjorn. And that's a massive shame. That's a really big shame. You know, he had such promise from the qualifying session, and here we are. So we are going to be racing without Bjorn for this sprint race. And the countdown has begun. We've got our grid set. We've got the sprint race on the bottom left hand of your screen. You can see 11 laps there. We'll go into the feature race, but we won't obviously be running that. It's just the unique nature of the way that this format and this championship is run. Just to remind you, the grid order will be as follows. So it'll be FRLO Stephen on pole position. It'll be Lionel Griesby in second. Mikey RK13 will be in third position. IRC Bruce will be in fourth, with Sir Spud 72 in fifth. What would have been Kent is now YB Maris OJ in sixth place. Reshka 95 in seventh. Ruddo 24 in eighth. Clips Kiri F1 in ninth place. ARL 33 in 10th. And Shortbread 224 will be in 11th position. Beyond that, everyone else who retired will start behind those drivers. So that would be Nitro Gash, that would include Matty Rudd if his wheel's fixed, who knows. It would also include DXT Matty. And Mikey has set the grid wrong. Okay, there we go. So Mikey has resent out the invites. And this is just one of those days, ladies and gentlemen, where no matter what we try to do, it just appears that things seemingly go wrong, and just got to stay patient with stuff like this. I know that it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us as spectators and for myself as a commentator, but we had these issues last week. You know, for whatever reason, F1 was glitching out and having all of those problems. So Mikey will go and reset up the lobby. Obviously, everything will be redone, so we won't be driving F1 World cars. So yeah, Mikey now going through the lobby options and just setting everything up. So it's particularly frustrating that we found ourselves in a scenario like this, but it is one that we are able to navigate around. We can get some people invited back into the new lobby as well, and that's the whole point. Again, you know, we've got to try and make sure that we're doing everything as best as we can in the right way. You know, sometimes it doesn't work, and we have to understand why it doesn't work, and it's frustrating that we have to learn as we go along. But fundamentally, we just have to deal with it for now, put up with it as best as we can, get everything sorted, and now that we know what these issues are and we've identified them, get everything boxed off and ready for next week. So, you are still watching us here with Invictus Racing League, and we are going to be going races again shortly. I do appreciate, of course, your patience. We have everything reset. Lobby is now set to 10 laps, which is what it should be for the feature race, which is what we're going to do. We're going to keep another feature race in because why not? I think it makes more sense. And Mikey now just doing what he can to get everybody back in. That's the whole point. I know it's frustrating, but we've just got to be a little bit patient. Alright, there we go. So everything looks like it's reset. Everything looks like it's in the right place. We've got all the drivers that we are expecting to have in the lobby. Doesn't look as if anybody else is missing. After all that, I reckon we could have actually got... I reckon we could have actually got the underbought in after all of that for whatever reason. So even though he delayed everything through no fault of his own, we could have actually got him in. But not to worry. It is what it is. And it looks as if everybody is ready to go. So I think we're off. Let's crack on with it. And we are over it. So there we go. We can get going at last. The grid has been set. If it's not been set this time, I think what we can all do, and I think we'd all agree on this, is we can go down to the bar, get us a couple of tequilas, and I'll watch you all get drunk, and I'll just sit there sober. Right, here we go into F2 for what is the sprint race, but is actually a feature race for this event. That's what we're going to have going on. Bit of an annoyance, but we are there at long last. AJLS saying predictions for Miami whilst we wait. AJLS, I'll entertain you on that one. In terms of predictions, it's probably going to be McLaren leading the way. And then I think either Max or George Russell in third place. If it's a normal Miami GP race, I think that's what I'd be saying. Kelvin saying that Max is going to retire. Right, we've had one race where we didn't have to make a pit stop for most people. This race we are going to make a pit stop for everyone, so it will balance everything back out. It's frustrating that when we try to have a little bit of creativity within the championship, things go wrong. But fundamentally, we are there. We are ready to go. This, I hope now, will end up being the greatest race you ever did see within Invictus Racing. And for those that have been continue to stay with us the whole time, we've been in double digits for quite a while on the view accounts. Really, thank you very much for sticking around. I know that your patience has been tested, let's say that much. And it's been a bit frustrating, but we've got the formation lap underway and the drivers are off on the formation lap. Took a few minutes, but we got there in the end, despite the issue. So Stephen is going to drive, I reckon, flat out to try and get this race going and underway. We've got the tyre situation as well. So obviously, because we're running the feature race as a sprint, and the sprint now as a feature, because that's how that's worked out. In terms of the format, not in terms of the points, gives the drivers a chance to experiment a little bit with not only the setups between races, but also a chance for them to use different tyres. So we've got a whole rainbow going on. Stephen has hit the wall at turn 3. It's a good job he gets away with damage on the formation lap. But we've got Mikey on the super softs. We've got Maras and Reshka on the super softs, along with Clips, Kiri, Shortbread, Nitro, and then DXT Matty also on the super soft. So the 15 drivers, we did have 17 originally, and we've got Ashtube curiously stopped on the road, but has got going again. We are going to get on with it. And we're going to have a 10-lap race, which would technically be classified as a sprint race in any case. So we are making sure we hit the regulations for the sprints. And Ashtube, I think, has gone off again. So I don't really know what's happening with his car. He's quite a long way behind. But he is the sole representative of the... Well, actually, he is all over the shop. The damn Lucas Oil car is, well, jumping about in a way that I could only explain as being possessed or doing some form of techno dance move that we've not yet seen in the nightclubs. That's some catastrophic lag right there for DXT Matty 22, and I don't think that's going to be advisable to race with. Ashtube is still catching up to the pack, and we've got another car. I can't ride on board of DXT Matty, otherwise I think we'll all end up with a headache. So it's ARL who's just catching up to the group now, and it'll be DXT Matty lining up at the back, although admittedly that car's a little bit all over the shop. We're going to stay on board with Mikey then. Let's get the telemetry and the lap data open. We are going to make a start for what will be the sprint here at Azerbaijan, and the race is live at long last. It looks like a good start from Mikey, but even better from Lion Agreesby, who's going to lead into turn one, but he's too cautious, and round he goes, and O'Stephen tags him around. He won't be too pleased about that, but O'Stephen then has the lead from Mikey. Then it's Maras in third place, but something has happened to O'Stephen. He's actually ghosted. They're going to be 3 wide down the main straight. Maras is obviously really quick at the minute. If he gets this move up the inside, he will lead the race. Mikey brakes at the same time as him, but Maras goes through, and Mikey's hit the wall. He braked too late, and Bruce goes through. Shortbread's up to 4th, and Bruce trying to hang on the inside. There's cars off everywhere in Sector 1. There's yellow flags aplenty. Clips is there in 5th place. It's Reshka in 6th. He's got Ruddo with him, as has Shortbread got Clips. So those two have still not managed to get past Clips despite their best efforts. But those guys on the medium tyres. Nitro on the outside of Sir Spud, trying to use those super soft tyres to good effect. And I think Reshka had a little bit of a wobble there on the exit of 7. There's a yellow flag. He can't go 2x2 in there. And how did Nitro and Spud get away with it? Well, Spud did, but then Ashtube decided to turn around Nitro, so that's not impressive. Ashtube and ARL side by side, and the Rodin car overtakes his teammate and goes through. I think there's going to be some tickets in about that one. So the two Prema cars who were 2nd and 3rd, they're now 12th and 13th, so add 10 onto their starting position. That's somebody in the wall, and I think that was ARL. Looked like he might have locked up and gone straight into the barrier at turn 15. Matty Rudd circulating, Nitrogash as well. Those two have damaged by the looks of things. It's not gone well for those two, but Maras leads the way, but O'Stephen is going to get overtaken not just by Shortbread, but by IRC Bruce, who's rocket ship in a ship straight line. And that could have been a commentator's trip over there if I'd have said the wrong word. Then Bruce gets it all wrong and locks straight up. Reshka goes deep and follows him almost off the road too. Shortbread and Reshka side by side on the super soft. You've got Clips further to the inside of that. They make contact. Clips and Shortbread just need to back out of it. They do. Reshka goes back into 2nd place. O'Stephen moves himself into 3rd again. Ruddo takes advantage of Clips and Shortbread coming together. He's up to 4th. He's got to get past O'Stephen as early as he can, because that'll be a nice little buffer between himself and Clips. They make a little bit of contact. It's all kicking off here in the sprint. Great undercut by Clips to go past O'Stephen. Another yellow flag. I think ARL's having some real difficulty out there. But Stephen falls away from Clips, and now it's Shortbread's turn to try and overtake him. And Shortbread in a Trident sandwich, but that's a nice line from the ART driver, but he can't get past, and Ruddo has been overtaken by Clips. Over the curbs for the ART, the feature race winner. He's now got to try and work his way past the Trident car in front of him. He's going to have to try and stay a little bit patient, but he's losing critical time here. Down on the brakes into the penultimate corner. Shortbread still in the slipstream of O'Stephen. It's a tighter line. Oh, and O'Stephen clips the wall. Shortbread to the inside at turn 20. Not really a corner in any circumstance, to be honest. But they're side by side down the main straight. I think O'Stephen's got quite a nice setup on the car. He's using a less draggier car, but he doesn't have the confidence on the brakes like Shortbread, who moves into 5th place. Oh, and he hits the wall again, does O'Stephen. Does that promote an opportunity for Ash Tube? And the answer to that is no, because he's got Sir Spud on his inside. O'Stephen hits the wall. Better exit from the Rodin Motorsport car. That will move up into 6th place, and the two Tridents now together on circuit. The XT Matty, despite being down in 15th place and having some very suspect glitching going on, it looks like his car's restabilised. They've plugged it into the diagnostic, and away he goes. So the Dams Lucas Oil car in 9th place. Let's just have a quick look. He's locking up the brakes a lot, though, I have to say. Lots of changes in the field. So Maras, who started in 6th place, he leads. He's being closed down by Reshka at the minute, and by quite a lot on this lap alone. So I think Maras leading what I've got to, just looking through my memory, there's a yellow flag out there, and I think, yeah, Mikey's hit the wall at turn 2. So that race has gone from bad to worse for him. And I think, yeah, I think Maras has hit the wall. Yeah, that's why Reshka's closing in so much. The front right end plate on the number 11 is broken. So Maras, who is leading an Invictus Racing League race for what I think, if I go through my memory, is the first time ever, which is a great achievement for him. He's going to have to pit and get a different set of tyres on. Might be a wise time to do it on this lap, to be honest, because the medium tyre that he's got available to him should last that long for the rest of the race. We don't know, but he's carried on. In terms of there is a change for 3rd place. Yeah, Ruddo goes past Clips Kerry. Shortbread with a new fastest lap of the race. I think Shortbread's tyres now at this point. A little bit all over the place. DXT Matty into the pits, as is Nitrogash. But yeah, all those drivers, they've made up some huge ground. Ash Tube has made up 8 places though. And to Spud and O'Stephen together on circuit. You've got O'Stephen we're on board with. He's got DRS available to him. He's going to be on the inside of his teammate, and I imagine, well, I was going to say, I imagine the two of them are going to keep it clean, and they did indeed. There's Bruce just behind. Get back to the tyre situation. So DXT Matty, who's locking up again on the brakes. Ooh, kick of oversteer as well on those brand new medium tyres. He's trying to get them warmed up. And Nitro as well has made that pit stop. Mikey went in before, but he's got an even worse broken front wing now, so he's just going to try and survive to the end, I think, and hope for a safety car. Matty Rudd has pitted too. But at the front, that gap has been coming down swiftly. And I think Maras may be just trying to hang on for this lap to get into the pits and get a new set of tyres on. But Reshka, clearly with the working car, is not struggling with understeer. Ruddo's closing the gap on the pair of them as well. But Reshka right at this minute in time, just hanging on to the back of Maras. He's going to look to make a move, and I wonder if he's going to use DRS and try and sneak into the pits before Maras. This is going to be close. They both stay out. That's a surprise. I was not expecting them both to stay out. Clips is in the pits though. which seems about right for me. Shortbread, new fastest lap again on this lap. He's absolutely flying. And he's all over the rear spoiler. And that's a VSC. Now, what is the VSC out there for? Is that for damage out there? ARL's in. The XT Matic. Nitrogash has got no front wing whatsoever. That's what's happened. So the Invictus car has planted the barrier, I would say, at the exit of turn 15. And that's no front wing on that Invictus car. So VSC, and that's well timed for Clips Kiri. He's going to love that. He will be... Nitrogash retires on the session. I was going to say before the headset disconnected that Clips Kiri will be loving that. He's got a free pit stop under VSC. He's 27 seconds behind Reshka, less than that now. In fact, it looks like he's closing the gap with those new tyres. So watch out for Clips Kiri here. He might be in a fabulous position to go and take a race lead here. Maybe even the victory, depending on how it works out for him. Reshka's still in the lead. Maras is in second, but has been completely hunted down by Shortbread 224, who has been the informed driver this evening. Don't forget, had that feature race victory before. Going up through the gears, he's going to have DRS available to him. He will make a move through. Mikey's gone into the wall. That's Reshka in the pits, and I think Shortbread is going to carry on. Yes, he does. Maras goes in. Shortbread just continuing on for the sake of it, I think. He clearly feels confident enough to take those super soft tyres as far as he can. So Ruddo, Ash Tube in the pits. And that is a move for... I see Bruce getting past Sir Spud. Just have a look at the pit stops, of course. Reshka, the highest of the drivers to have officially made a stop. Quite a few of them out there who are yet to do so. Reshka now back out on circuit. There's Ruddo. Ash Tube is there. There's YB Maras. And Clips Kiri is in the pits. And that's because he's got no front wing. And what a chance that was. Clips Kiri probably would have got first place here on track because of that VSC, but he's planted the wall. Sadly for him, that is not going to be a race victory heading his way. But I'll see Bruce is in second place. He'll be going on to the super soft tyres in a minute. But he's got Sir Spud for company. He's right on board with Sir Spud. We don't get the opportunity to do so often. Through the castle section he goes. See how tight it is round this Baku circuit. It's 3.73 miles for the drivers to navigate. But Spud has had a really good evening, to be fair. He's had a great drive. And Mikey is out. He's retired in the pits. That's another driver. That's 2 DNFs. We lost Mikey. We lost Nitro. But Shortbread is still leading the way here after lap 6. We're going to be going on to lap 7. And is the ART going to go into the pits? Yes, is the answer to that. Nice line into the pits, and that doesn't look like he's lost too much time at all. Gets it comfortably under the speed limit. Bruce and Spud are going to continue on. There's another yellow flag out there. And I think ARL, for whatever reason in this lobby, is having an absolute nightmare. But that's the broken front wing. Where does Shortbread re-emerge then? Big question now. Reshka's going to be in front of him. Ruddo's got the super soft tyres on. It's going to be close on the exit of the pits. Oh, Shortbread just shuts the door on him, but he's going to have cold tyres. And Ruddo's going to also have DRS. So the championship leader moves into 4th position. Shortbread tried his best to keep the AIX car behind him, but just couldn't quite manage it. And those cold tyres are still getting up to temperature. It's going to take him a couple of corners before they are. Ruddo now is going to try and go after Reshke. He's 2.7 seconds behind. We'll see if there's a big difference between the super soft and the medium compound tyres. Ashtube is running in 6th position. We got a... And Sir Spud is out. Sir Spud's hit the wall. He's hit the wall at the castle section. That's a VSC. And I think coming into the right-hander here, he's clipped the inside wall and he's gone straight off. Ah, that is a great shame. He was absolutely flying. Was Spud, but unfortunately, like Icarus, he's flown too close to the sun. And Sir Spud is out of the race, and that's a great shame. Now, the VSC has come out at an interesting time for Bruce. He's just coming down the main straight now. Is he going to have enough time, I wonder? No, is the answer. I was just about to say, is he going to have enough time to get in and serve a pit stop? But no is the answer to that. So, I see Bruce. He's going to probably come out somewhere where Lionel Griesby is, in 9th place. And into the pits he goes. So Reshke takes the lead on circuit, but Ruddo is 2 seconds behind. He's being stalked by Shortbread, who's going to hang on to DRS. Then it'll be Ashtube, who will move up into 4th position. Maras is being hunted down by DXT Matty, and O'Stephen for that matter. DRS wide open for the Dams Lucas oil car. He's going to breeze on by into 6th position. Bruce is still having his pit stop, so I don't think... Oh, so Maras gets the braking zone all wrong. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a push to pass, I think, for... Yeah, Maras wisely backs out of that. Because he can't overtake after pushing somebody wide at turn 1. But Bruce is fed out behind O'Stephen and in front of Lionel Griesby, who is on for a top 10 finish. Matty Rudd's on his own. Clips, he'll be kicking himself as Maras gets back in front of Matty, but braked a little bit too late. But he brakes a little bit late into turn 4. There's contact between the two, and they just need to back out of it. That is really frustrating to watch as somebody who's a commentator and a racer himself. They just need to sometimes back out of incidents like that. That's why we've had an accident there. Maras has no front wing. DXT Matty has got a broken front wing. And sometimes driver awareness is really important, and that just did not happen there. I think Maras has slowed right down and he's let Matty back through, and I think Maras probably is aware of the fact that it probably was his fault, but again, not ideal. Really isn't what we want here in F2. So those two are going to drop outside of the top 10. So Matty Rudd might have something to smile about because he's had a bit of a quiet race out there. Now at the front, Reshke is just about out of DRS range from Ruddo, but you can see Reshke is already trying to break the toe here from Ruddo, but Ruddo with those super soft tyres and with a slightly different setup and a new fastest lap is trying to take his second race victory in this championship. Ashtube with a new fastest lap of the race. Ashtube is absolutely flying on those tyres. Ruddo will have DRS for the first time, and look at Reshke. He's across the circuit. He's trying to break that toe as best as he possibly can. See the fastest laps I've just highlighted there on the top left of your screen. Ashtube half a second faster than the next closest competitor, which we ride on board with in the form of Ruddo. O'Stephen has done a 54.3 as well. O'Stephen's on for points in the sprint. It's a really good drive for him, but he's got Bruce with him. For those that aren't aware, the top 6 drivers in the sprint will score points. So 6 for first, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As Ruddo almost does a Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault from way back when. We've got another yellow flag out there, and I think that's Maras who's gone off again. It's been a bit of a disaster for MP Motorsport in the sprints. Yeah, Ruddo nearly clipping the wall. Ruddo knows that this race victory could be his. He just has to get his car close enough to the back of Reshke, and Reshke's still moving to the inside trying to break the toe. But Ruddo, with those super soft tyres, has just got a bit more grip and a bit more purchase to lean on the exit of the corners. The gap is half a second, and Ruddo knows he's going to have one other opportunity to get past Reshke here, and that'll be on the exit of turn number 2 if he doesn't get him down the start-finish straight. So he's in the wheel tracks. DRS is open now. The AIX car breezes up to the back of the Campos, to the inside line, and that's an uncontested lead for Ruddo. He takes the position a little bit deep though, and that's going to give Reshka the undercut, and Ruddo brakes a little bit earlier, and he's trying to get the DRS. That was smart driving from Ruddo, but he kicks up the oversteer on the exit of the corner. Has it compromised him? He's weaving all over the road, is Reshka, but this is the chance for Ruddo. He's going to go to the inside as we ride on board. He goes alongside, he brakes a little bit later. Ruddo takes the lead on the final lap of the race, but this is far from over because Shortbread has joined the party as Matty Rudd decided not to make any changes for his pit stop, so he's missed out there. But he's been disqualified, so 2 DSQs for Matty. Hasn't really gone well for him. O'Stephen has been overtaken by IRC Bruce whilst we were watching this fight, this leading trio. But Ruddo's got to be careful. Oh, Ruddo is slow out of turn 7. He's been having all sorts of issues out of there, and I've watched it a few times. He's been very slow on the power. And that's Reshka's chance just to stay close, because the DRS line, don't forget, occurs before the start-finish straight. And if Reshka can just stay close enough to the race leader, he might snatch the lead back yet. Down through the gears, into turn 15 for the final time. Up through the gears. Half a second is the gap. Shortbread is right there as well. That's wide from Ruddo. And that's an opportunity. This is it. The race victory is going to get settled here at the start-finish line. Reshka is in the wheel tracks of Ruddo. The DRS is going to be open in a moment. He's got the slipstream. He's a couple of miles an hour quicker than the AIX car. DRS is going to be active. This is going to be close. It's open now. Reshka goes to the inside line. And Reshka's going to take it. Reshka steals it at the final part of the lap. He takes the sprint race victory by a tenth of a second. Shortbread ends up third in the end. Ashtube with fourth. What a finish that was in the end. That was fantastic racing. Bruce gets 5th position. O'Stephen is 6th in the end. The last of the point scorers in the sprint. Lionel Griesby, a solid result for him. He's just coasting over the finish line to come home in 7th place. DXT Matty will be 8th. Clips, Kiri, the 2 MP Motorsport cars, Maras there in 10th, and ARL having all sorts of issues in that one. But Reshka, wow. AJLS saying that they didn't fix wing at the stop, that's why he was having some issues. But Reshka taking it on the final DRS sprint to the line. What a race in the end. We had some carnage trying to get the lobby set up, but we got there in the end. Shortbread takes driver of the day with his drive from 11th through to 3rd place, but it worked out for Reshka in the end. A little mistake from Ruddo at turn 15 just gave him the chance to close that gap down, and it was enough for Reshka to steal a sprint race victory, his first of the Mini F2 League season. Champagne spraying for the drivers and the engineers. They'll be delighted back at Campos with that race result. And let's run you through what will be the provisional race results here today for the sprint. It is Reshka who takes the race victory. Ruddo is 2nd with Shortbread 224 in 3rd, rounding out the podium for the sprint. Ashtube is 4th with RC Bruce in 5th with FRL O'Stephen getting the last point in 6th place. Lionel Griesby, DXT Matty, Clips, YB Maras and ARL will take the last spots for the race finishes. Spud, Mikey, Nitro and Matty Rudd retiring. Apart from Matty Rudd, obviously he had the DSQ. Well, there we are then. We got there in the end. It took a little bit of haranguing from F124 to try and get us through, but we will have those issues sorted for next week, guaranteed. But that is it for all of the action. here with the Invictus Racing League for round 2 of the Mini F2 League. We're halfway through the season already, would you believe? Next week, the drivers will be heading off to the Hungaroring for round number 3. But wherever you might be in the big wide world, thank you very much for watching and have a good one. We will see you for the next round in 7 days' time.